Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Diana Wright Show Live, and welcome to you, my viewers from around the world and in the United States. We thank you so much for joining us this day, the day after Memorial Day, the holiday. It's nice to take a break and just relax. Yes, it is. It's actually good to just go and sit with a friend and have a conversation and just talk. Yeah? No ulterior motives, no excuses, no nothing. But when you drive by and you see those military families going to pay respects to their loved ones, it kind of touches a place in your heart, and you are reminded how blessed you are to be alive. And how blessed you are that you did not have a loved one, whether mother, father, sister, brother, spouse, aunt, cousin, that went to war and never came back alive, but came back in a box. So are we so blessed and should be so thankful each and every day that we wake up and we're still here? Whether we're rich or poor, black or white or Hispanic or Indian or Chinese or African or shouldn't we just be happy and be blessed and be thankful to God on a daily basis that we are here? And to know that even though the devil tried to destroy you because of your great tragedy that you had, God was able to stop it. As T.D. Jakes says, he is able to stop anything and do anything and make anything happen. So if we have enough faith and believe and trust that that will be so, then it is so. But I want to focus this morning on excuses. No excuse. Because as we talk with Judith from People 490 today, when she calls us, I know she will agree with me that making excuses for what we do is unacceptable. And what if we had a world where people just don't make excuses? Because I keep telling you that making excuses is tantamount to you trying to make up a lie, a story to tell. So what if we know we couldn't do something and we just honestly say, I was so busy, I forgot. Or, I'm sorry, I just didn't get to do that for you. Or, I'm late for work because it's my own fault, I just woke up a little late. Or the fact that I'm putting on my makeup in the car, even my eyeliner that should probably blind me if someone decides to hit the back of my car, I just honestly woke up too late. And what if we simply just say no excuses to anything for a while and just be honest? Don't worry about who's going to be mad or who's not going to like what you said, or you're always a yes person and now you have to say no and ooh. What if we live in a world where there are no excuses for what we do? No, you didn't go do that because your mother didn't give you any love. Or you didn't go do that because you didn't have a father. No more excuses. Can we just vouch to that today? Can we just invite ourselves to become people of no excuses? And if you say you're going to do something, you just do it without someone having to have a whip over your shoulder. And if your boss gave you something to do and you just didn't complete it, just say, I'm sorry, I overlooked, or I forgot, or I know I used to be upset when my daughter went to KIPP Academy in Atlanta, Georgia, one of the greatest, best schools on this American soil. A charter school, no doubt. In the ghetto, no doubt. And in order to get in that school, because you are not living in the hood, you have to put your name on a list and wait for them to call you because the school is that good. But they put it in the hood to attract people from outside the hood to come to the school because it is so good. But their motto at that school was no excuses. So if your classmate did something bad, everyone suffered. Everyone was punished. Because you should have made sure that that classmate made no excuses by doing something wrong and then trying to come out of it. So what if we had a planet without excuses? What would it look like? How would it feel? Make us feel. Wouldn't it want to make us do what we say we're going to do? Be a good friend, a bad friend, a good mother, a good father, take our responsibilities seriously, take our work seriously, get to work on time, have proper work ethic. No excuses. Simple. I'm just going to ask you that. Just no excuses. Maybe you can just do it for a day. Then you graduate to a week, then a month, then a year, then it just stops. And my God, stop blaming the devil for what you do or can't do or did not do. Do not give the devil any power in your life. Because the devil, I don't call the devil a liar. I say the devil is a lie. Because if I choose to live in the supernatural and be conscious and know what I want to do and do what I say I'm going to do, like Judge Hatchett says, say what you mean and mean what you say. We all just need to stop being chickens and just make no excuses. Because the people who we celebrated yesterday on Memorial Day, what if they made excuses? And they were not able to protect this wonderful place that we call America and we all love so much. Even though lots of folks are fleeing to Australia and Ecuador and France and Thailand and the DR, the Dominican Republic. Yeah, lots of folks are fleeing there. What are we running from? Most people say they would like to live, and when they get to those places, they feel so much more relaxed, and it's not rush, rush, rush. And they can live a better quality of life. So what is your quality of life today, and what are you hoping for? Remember, faith is the things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So anything we choose to hope for, there's a big possibility that you will get it. So let's hope for making no more excuses for the things we do or not do. Just let's do what we say we're going to do and what we promise to do. We're asking God to keep all his promises, so we should keep our promises and hold up our end of the bargain. That's my plead for you today. Wherever you're watching on this planet, I say thank you Welcome to the program. Again, this is the Diana Wright Show Live. So, as we kind of ponder all the things that happened over the weekend, it was so wonderful to see that the Jersey Shore is back. Not totally, but almost, with hard work and cooperation and a governor that was willing to work with a President Barack Obama, who he did not find to be an enemy, but someone he needed to help his state through a tragedy, a disaster, a destruction. But you see, even though the destruction came, there was a way that it was going to be restored. Do we want it restored, or is it safe to be restored like the people in Oklahoma? I question. If you live on that tornado path, and it was 1 in a trillion that this may happen, might happen, could have happened, and boom, it happened. Are you going to go for a third time down the chance road? I'm not so sure. That's something I think we need to think about. Should we just not have homes in that particular area of Oklahoma, even though we love it so much? I don't think they're able to build tornado-proof buildings yet. No. God has not given anyone that gift yet. Yeah, the earthquake thing, they've kind of sort of gotten it, to build those buildings that move with the earthquake. But I don't even think that's perfected, because if it was, then there would not be so much devastation by earthquakes around the world. But then you'd have to knock down all those old buildings to build new ones, and we want to preserve history in most of the countries, don't we? So, as we celebrate the Jersey Shore, and the president, I think, is supposed to go there today, because he spent his weekend, doing all kind of visiting things and all the Memorial Day things. So today, I wonder if Governor Chris Christie is going to hug the president today. I'll make sure I'm watching. And if you're not watching, I'll remind you tomorrow. Because you see, the Republicans keep talking about the fact that if the president did not get hugged and received by Chris Christie, he would have lost the election. I am here to tell you that that's a lie, living in Denial Street in Hope Garden. Because President Obama would have won the 2012 election, re-election for president, whether there was a Sandy or not a Sandy. God only made that Sandy to show Republicans and Democrats that Democrats, President Obama, and Republican Governor Chris Christie, most popular governor in the country, can actually work together for the good of the people of New Jersey in particular, and New York also. How so? Yes. We can actually work together for the good of the American people. So how much and how and when and how are we going to convince Republicans and Democrats, especially Republicans? And Senator Rand Paul just need to stop talking. Because he's not going to be president in 2016. I'm here to tell him that because I have supernatural eyes and I know he won't be. Yeah? Because I live up there in the supernatural. So if he would just stop, take a break, and stop being so negative and try to pull everyone else down and deal with himself and the skeletons he has. Remember the statement he made about the civil rights movement? Have we forgotten that? And did he think we forgot? No, we didn't. And how many of us believe that the Republican Party can actually win back the White House, which they think they are somehow entitled to, without the black vote? I say black. The brown vote, which includes Hispanics and Chinese and them Indian people. Those people, those immigrants that the Republicans like to talk about. Do they think they can actually win a presidential election in 2016 without those people, those immigrants who are now citizens? Is it Bob Dole, I think, over the weekend said that the Republicans should take a recess? I think they should listen and stop talking. Because every time they speak, I hear hate, 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 hate. Who do you hate? It must be the American people, because all the people you're trying to hate, they're not being affected by what you're saying. Remember now, President Barack Hussein Obama is no longer running for office. He's done his history. He's made his history. He's done his good, and we know where his heart is. At least we think we do, because now we're hearing something a little murky. And I refuse to believe this murky. Because we're now being told that the White House invited those hedge fund guys from Wall Street and gave them insider information so that they could go out and make money before the information got to us little people in the public. I refuse to believe that in the name of Jesus. I would rather believe that the president or the White House or whomever in the White House put this together, brought those hedge fund guys together, it was for another reason. It could not be the people who destroyed our economy, so it is said, are then going to be gifted, given gifts, basically. No, I'm not going to accept that. Absolutely not. I refuse to accept that. So until we know why they were invited by the White House for a special meeting, we will wait and we will see how that unfolds. And then you see the journalists, they're still very mad, absolutely mad about the fact that they can't book the guests that they want. And when I say guests, I mean guests from high-level places that can give them scoops. Because that's how the media is run, by scoops and who can get the story first. I'm a journalist myself, and I like the freedom of being able to say what I want to say and get inside information. But are they supposed to be mad? And they're also mad, of course, about the reporter at Fox, Mr. Rosen, who was targeted by the Justice Department and, and they're calling him all kind of names. Don't want to repeat those names. Yeah. Espionage. Is this a Watergate happening? But should we consider the policy of the White House? Because, they're saying that the president has locked the White House down and journalists can't get in to get any information. He's so inaccessible, And of course, he only gives the interviews to those bigwigs like Brian Williams and Diane Sawyer and 60 Minutes and CNN sometimes. But the little guys don't get a chance. But on a serious note, should journalists be given information from a leak? A person who has signed confidentiality forms when they work for certain departments of the government and they work for the president and all of that. Should they, the journalists, be able to get that information when it actually affects our national security? I say no, they should not get that information. Because I think American journalists, we give information out and then we keep forgetting that the enemies who live around the world, from Al-Qaeda to Hezbollah to whomever, they too are watching. I am sure those young men, not necessarily them themselves who came with their planes through the Twin Towers in New York, they probably weren't listening, but someone older in the Al-Qaeda plot network was watching the architect on the morning show, and he said only planes could destroy the building. So as we fight as journalists to be shielded, and yes, the president has asked Mr. Holder to look into the policy and explain to him why certain things happen, because that's how I receive it. I don't think Mr. Holder is investigating himself. I think the president's request was plain and simple, and we should not try to twist what he said, because this is how I read it. I read it that he called up the Attorney General Holder to his office and he said this: please review the policy that allowed you to do what the Justice Department did, and we probably should look at that policy and change a few things about the policy. Now, it seems like other journalists are getting it totally different from I'm getting it, so maybe I'm just not so with it. But that's what I received. And I do believe that there's certain information that affects national security that should not be disclosed to journalists. I'm sorry. It should just not be available until it is no longer a risk for us to receive it. So, as we ponder the situation, I think we should keep in mind that there's safety. And there are crazy people out there who just want to hurt America. Why? I don't know. Well, some of them say America is doing this to the Muslims and America is doing that. But have we even thought about the fact that Muslims are killing their own people? They are. They are killing more of their own people than I think any American could. And when we talk about the drones, and we're so upset about the drones, and it's being used, willy-nilly kind of thing, would we prefer to send our young men and women into battle on the ground of these places that they're getting all those Al-Qaeda leaders and all those other terrorists? In order to do good sometimes and to destroy sometimes, just sometimes, other people will get hurt or killed. And as the president says, that's something that he has to live with for the rest of his life. He's haunted by it, as he said. So why can't we just give him the benefit of the doubt about that? Yes, they might need to take a look at the drone program, because maybe, just maybe, somebody might be getting a little trigger happy. But shouldn't we also wait? Why do we always just run to judgment, to kill people immediately? Kill the president, impeach him, get him out of there, because we hate him so much, before we actually get the facts. We'll see if Benghazi is resurrected this week. Or do we have too many other things on our plate, like Oklahoma, like the good news from the New Jersey shore, like this new thing about the hedge funders who were invited to the White House? Wow. Anyway, it seems like the cruise industry is just being, I don't know what's going on. Something is not right. they need to do something because, they need to go have some serious prayer or something. Because yet again, only this time it's not Carnival. It's Royal Caribbean Cruise Line or Caribbean Cruise Line, however you want to pronounce that word. It's okay with me. So it's now 2,220 passengers disappointed on their way back home with a refund and a coupon for another cruise. The ship caught fire. Ooh, ouch. So I'm trying to wonder if the cruise line industry is being plagued. I'm glad I took all my cruises already. Oh yes, I don't know. My family loved the cruise thing, but I'm like, ooh, break up now. Too many things are going on. Anyway, the cruise line that we took, Norwegian, has not had any issues yet that we know of. So maybe, just maybe, you never know. You just never know. But cruising is wonderful. It's a relaxing, wonderful thing to know you don't have to worry about a hotel. You don't have to worry about food. You don't have to worry about a lot of things. You just go, pack your bags, go and have a good time. You can get food any time of the night that you want it. And that kind of thing, your waistline get a little expanded. But, you can also go to the gym there on the ship and work it off. But what is happening in the cruise industry? We now see it's not just Carnival. Are they taking shortcuts with safety because the industry is so big and, that maritime law, nobody's really watching them? What is happening in the cruise industry? Well, I know that a lot of people will not be swayed by all the disasters. People will just keep on going. But I think the cruise industry themselves need to look at their safety features before anything worse happens. Yeah? And oh my goodness, just watching those people, everybody was so disappointed. Imagine you plan a vacation for a long time. And then you go on this vacation and you're on this great voyage to wherever you are going. And here we go, a fire. So sad. But anyway, we hope that the cruise industry will find a way to fix all that's going on, because it is necessary to give people back the confidence that when they leave their house to go on a cruise, they're not going to be devastated and drowned in water and, having all kind of things happen to them on their journey and then have to return to their homes without completing that cruise. So, Rutgers University is part of the big news. I mean, the story really caught fire over the weekend. This was the first Memorial Weekend I remember that is so hot. I mean, there's so many things going on. And this one just seemed to have been stoking the fire. I'm sure you must have heard the story by now, because simply it's the coach at Rutgers University was fired because he was seen to be abusing on video his players. The people that he was coaching, he was kicking them and punching them and calling them all kind of dirty names. And ooh, wouldn't you be sad as a parent to know that you entrusted a coach with your child and they are being abused by a coach? So Rutgers University had the great thought that they would bring a woman to fix things, because sometimes you see women are good fixers. But the woman they brought in as the new AD, she has more mess than the person that she's trying to replace. she just has a mess for herself. So my question to you is, did the people at Rutgers University actually vet this woman from Tennessee before? Yeah, she was successful there with the women's basketball team. But did they actually look into her background when they're trying to use her to replace someone whose mess she's trying to come in and clean up, but she has her own mess? I'm not quite sure about that. I think, well, I'm sure Governor Christie will get involved in this one because it just seems to be a little stupid, I think, for you to hire someone to clean up a mess that they committed the same sin. Yeah, we know in the Bible that Jonah had his own sin and his own disobedience to God, and God made everyone suffer on the ship. And then he went into the belly of the fish, and then God brought him out, and he had to go back to Nineveh. And then when he went back to Nineveh, he's preaching about trying to fix things that he just got fixed for. So maybe they thought that her sins were forgiven because it was a long time ago. So now she could come as the hero to try to fix a mess that she was just in her own mess. No, I'm totally amazed when these things happen. And these people are getting big salaries to do what they do. And the little people who are out here slaving and working hard, we don't even want to give them $9 an hour. It's just amazing to me how it works out. So as I ponder that story, I ask you to ponder it too, because it is indeed important for you to think about it. Are you going to have someone trying to clean up something and they're guilty of that same something? Yeah, we are forgiven, but this is just too big a thing for they to have missed. They have her on video, and she has the nerve to stand up on the podium and lie that she don't remember video. She says, oh, there's no video. And I'm watching her and I'm going, lady, have you been watching television lately? Because the video has been running and it looks like a younger you with black hair or brown hair or dark brown hair or whatever color it was. You were younger, but it's you. And how could she forgot? How did she? I forgot. Oh, I didn't remember. She didn't remember the memo, the letter that was written by the students that she abused and called them whores and mentally disabled. Oh my goodness. Whew. It's tiring to see the people that we rely on, or the people that we give so much honor and respect. And when we dig deeper, we see that the hole is much deeper than we thought. And that's the reason I'm cautioning people like Senator Rand Paul to stop talking and stop hating, because there is a divine order that keeps working things. Sometimes you don't even have to do anything to be blessed or be persecuted. It just comes. So I'm just simply wondering, once again, as I welcome you at the 11 o'clock hour to the Diana Wright Show Live, welcome from around the world and in the United States. Thank you so much for joining me. And as I ask you to keep in mind, April 30th is I Love Me Day. 2014 looks far away, but it's just around the corner. I'll be older, you'll be older. And should we forget the things that we've done Yes, we might be forgiven, but we should not be coming on television talking about, I did not see, there is no video. Wow. And she is actually refusing to resign. Now, I'm not so sure that her refusal to resign is going to make her keep that job as AD at Rutgers University to fix mess. But anyway, I'm sure this is Judith from People 490 that's calling us to give us some good information today. Hi, Judith. How are you?
Good morning. How are you today?
I am very good, thank you. And I trust you had a great, restful Memorial Day.
Very, very good. When I see that you're on a roll this morning.
Yes, I'm on the roll because I want to ask you this because you're an educator. You are in the business of teaching people. How do you deal with excuses? Because I am just simply tired of excuses. How do you deal with it?
You work around it.
Huh?
You work around it.
You work around it. Okay. Judith says you should work around the excuses. Okay. All right. I'm not sure I'm accepting
that. You find a way. You just find a way to get to the truth.
To get to the truth.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So knowing that you're an educator and you're People 490, the fixer and the teacher and, trying to get people to not make excuses when they go to the job late. And when you send them to an interview, they should not be late.
No, they have to get there. In my book, you get there 15 minutes before the time. You go to the restroom and you brush up. If your hair got blown out on your way there, then you go and tuck it in. If your clothes is kind of up or down or flip or whatever, you go in and you straighten up yourself. If you need to use the bathroom, you use it. And you do all of that good stuff. But that 15 minutes allow you enough time to put yourself back together the way you left home. Mm-hmm. And then go out in the reception area, grab a book. Mm-hmm. Or if there's a magazine there on the company, you grab that thing and you sit there and you read. Of course, you have to tell the receptionist that you're there at 5 minutes. So you don't want to go early and push the interviewer. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to go late and tick them off.
Okay. So let me ask you.
5 minutes allow you to go in. You inform whomever's at the front desk that you're there for the interview to see Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so. You must have that information down pat. Mm-hmm. And you sit decently, and if they, like I said, if you have there's a magazine there on the company, you need to grab it and start reading it and get to know more information on the company. Of course, you should have researched that before you got there. But it's impressive to see that you're sitting there reading their magazine.
Right. But let me ask you this, though, Judith. If someone has an interview with you and they come in and they're, say, 15 minutes late, how do you handle the excuse that they're going to give? Because they're coming up with an excuse about why they're late.
Well, the reason is, what you're going to do is to say to that person very politely, very calmly, very professionally, Mr. or Miss, whomever the person is, you address them by their name. Mm-hmm. I am sorry, but I will not be able to interview you today.
Oh,
you
ouch.
are late for your interview, and we have to move on.
Wow.
Sorry.
I did not know you would be that harsh. I didn't even expect that answer.
No. You have to do it and do it right, and that's the way you do it. Because think about it. If you're going for an interview, you're going to be 15 minutes late, Diana. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do when you get that job?
Okay. So do you give that person a second chance to do another interview, though? Or you don't?
No.
Wow.
You have to come up with something very, very, when I say very, I'm just stressing that very so hard. Good reason for you to get a second interview. If it's one of those lame excuses, no.
Wow. So
if you have children, for example, and then you come in and you say just about when you're ready to leave or within that time, your child got sick, or you had dropped the child off and you got a call from the school that you have to pick up the child from school, then you had to go and pick it up and drop the child off at the grandparents, and then you come in, then yes. And if that's proven, because you have to take that out.
Okay. So if
proven, then you get a chance.
Okay, so if that happens, you as the interviewer, are you able to, you have to cross-check that before you actually conduct the interview, or you do the interview and then cross-check?
You might not be able to cross-check that at that particular time.
Right.
But if you're any good interviewer at all, you're going to make sure after all is said and done, you're going to check the information out.
Okay.
And that person has to bring some kind of proof to you, or whatever. There has to be positive throughout this for you to get that second chance.
Okay.
And if you can prove that, or you do not come up with the proof, then that's clear evidence that you're not the right person for the job.
Okay. Even if you are going to get the job?
Even if.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, I know I took you off on a tangent there.
That's fine. That's why I'm here.
Okay, because it just came to me, and I thought, when I'm doing this thing this morning about no excuses, I'm going, but Judith is a perfect person to ask to deal with this. Sure. But I truly did not know that if you are actually late, an interviewer will sometimes tell you they just can't do the interview.
No, you can't. You are 15 minutes late. Wow. You're supposed to be there 15 minutes ahead of time, and you are supposed to use that 15 minutes wisely. You cannot sit there and wait just about when they're getting ready to call you in. You want to go to the bathroom. No.
Okay.
Or you come in and you flop 15 minutes, and then that means you're pushing the interviewer. And you don't want to race them to come to to the interview, because they might very well be in a meeting, or they might be interviewing someone else. You don't want to push them.
Wow.
So you go that 15 minutes, get, like I said, to the bathroom, and fix yourself up, because sometimes you're traveling, and like I said, the ladies, for example, your hair falls out of place. You want to go in, you want to make sure that your face is the way it is, the way you left home, your hair is intact, your clothes is properly fitted on you the way it was there. It's something that's still on you, you can clean it up and make sure all is well or whatever. And then you go back out there and you say, Madam, whomever's at the front, my name is Mary Jane. I'm here to see Tom Jones for an interview at 9 o'clock. You're supposed to have all of that information that I'm saying, all of that. And you have to say all of that information. Don't allow the person to be pulling it out. Your responsibility is to say, my name is Mary Jane. I am here to see Tom Jones. My appointment is X time.
Okay.
For the interview, da-da-da-da-da.
So the interview is basically starting from you get there and you speak to the receptionist, basically.
Absolutely. From the minute you step through the door, you're being interviewed.
Okay. All right. I wanted to...
That receptionist, that receptionist can make or break your interview.
Wow.
You can walk in there and you walk in there with a sour face. And that receptionist look at you and say, not you. And that receptionist pick up that phone and call Tom Jones in the back and say, Tom Jones, not this one.
Oh, my.
So your interview is over. But you still get the opportunity to go in for your interview. Right. If you did everything else right. But you come in and you're treating the receptionist very rudely. I said, Mr. Jones. I think you hear that receptionist can just whip there, and you don't even know it.
Okay. You mentioned something that I think is quite important there. You talked about getting the company magazine and learning about the company, and also you should have done that prior to being at the interview. I think a lot of people kind of miss that step when they're going for a job. They just want a job. And as I saw this morning, just before coming on with you, there's a headliner on the internet that says, don't go for the job, go for the company. So you truly need to research and know the company, because the company you might get the job, but the company is just a lousy company to work for. So you want to know. So I'm glad you brought that up. So you want to just expand on that a little bit for people to know when I'm going for this interview, what I really need to do in terms of my knowledge of the company.
You should, first of all, you shouldn't even be invited to an interview before you know something about the company. Because if you're going to apply to a company, evidently you have an interest in the company.
Right.
So from start, you should be checking out that company.
Okay.
You should know as much as humanly possible about that company, and you're going to now send in a resume to that company. As a matter of fact, in your cover letter, you should have something included in that cover letter about the company and tie it in with what you do.
Ah, okay. Good tip. That's a very good
tip.
Tip.
Well, you're asking for a receptionist, for example, and to be a different desk to your Bami presser. You can say, well, I'm from the parish of so-and-so, and one of the things that we do very well in this parish is to press Bami. And I grew up pressing Bami, so that's a very good comparison. Right there, you sell yourself, you get an interview, because they say, oh my God, this person grew up in the Bami pressing parish and da-da-da-da-da, and we need somebody to do Bami press, and it's also going to say, oh, she did her homework.
Right. So it gives you a little benefit, a little heads up.
But you have to have more heads up over the next applicant.
Yeah.
You can't be on the same level as the next applicant. You have to have something better than the other applicant, or the millions of other applicants that might come for that very one job. You have no idea. One position out there has thousands of applicants.
Oh my God, yes. Ooh, it's crazy. I think it's actually insane how many people apply for one job.
Yes.
Totally insane.
What people need to know is that not always can HR send you a letter to say, I'm sorry, you did not get the job. Don't sit around and anticipate that. Because they get so many, they can't do that.
Okay.
Because what they do, they narrow it down, and then they start requesting people to come in for interviews. So you stand a chance of, after that interview, if you didn't get the job, they might say, well, sorry, but wish you good luck.
Right.
And if you get an interview, for crying out loud, people who are listening, people, send a thank you letter. It makes or breaks.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. That thank you note is very crucial. I learned that on my journey.
It tells them that, not one, you have an interest in that job.
Yeah.
And two, you're respectful.
Right.
And you value the time they took to interview you.
Right. Okay, and it only costs you a stamp, right?
As a matter of fact, I tell people, you better get that stamp and that envelope ready. And the minute you walk out of that interview, that letter is in that envelope, sealed and in the mail.
Is it okay to send an email, Judith, if you were having email correspondence with the person, or is it better to do the letter?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Okay.
Don't you dare. That is not even a thought.
Okay, no emails. Thank you very much, and no text.
No, absolutely not. Unless after in the interview, the interviewer says to you, "Here is my cell number. Please text me if there is A, B, and C."
Ah, okay.
Then you can use that. But at the same time, you need to back yourself up with that thank you letter.
Right.
In that mail.
Okay. So, thank you in the mail. Oh, it's so easy to say thank you.
To you can send me an email, it's so and so and so. You can ask questions. That is what an interview is all about. Ask questions. Mr. So and so, I would like to send you a thank you letter. May I use the email for that purpose, sir?
Okay.
And to relationship that is developed, the rapport that is developed during the interview, you can ask the person.
Okay.
But my thing is that you send that letter right after you get out of the interview to that person, thank him or her for the time, and in there you really I'm interested in the job, I'm very well qualified based on my background, da-da-da-da.
Okay. All right. My special guest inside the Diana Wright Show live this morning is none other than Judith, giving us great information about just life and getting the job that you want. And, you know, a lot of us leave out little things, and the little things like the thank you note is truly, truly important. You can check out Judith's website at people490.com. It's easy to remember, people490.com. All right. I think Judith is going to talk to us a little bit about some of the events that she has coming up. And we will start off with the recruiting drive. What indeed is a recruiting drive? Are you recruiting people for jobs, or are you recruiting people to train for things? What are you doing with that recruiting drive?
We're recruiting people for employment. So if there's someone out there seeking employment, I need him or her to bring in the resume on June 15th at 10 o'clock. We'll be there from 10 I think 9 o'clock we have it down for.
Yeah, from 9 to 1. From 9 to 1?
9 to 1.
Yes, I have that.
9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We will be there, and you come on out, bring your resume. I would encourage you to bring a cover letter with that resume. You have enough time, but if it gets down to the wire and there are people who did not hear like until the day before or so, then yes, I will accept. So you can bring your resume only. But from now, I'm asking that they bring a cover letter along with their resume. Come dressed for an interview.
Don't go in your jeans and your belly skin blouse.
Wearing your sneakers and your tear jeans or your T-shirt. We are not running a little sub place. We are running a professional business. Please, please, please.
Come dressed in the appropriate attire. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
No belly skin showing, and no bosom, and no bosoms spilling out of your dress. I mean, I'm serious. Sometimes I see these women, whether on television or anywhere, and their bosoms are dropping out.
Yes, all these cleavages going.
Yes, you know, I'm like, okay, we don't need to see your cleavage. We need to see your face and listen to what you're saying, because if you go to an interview with your cleavage hanging out there, the interviewer is not going to be interviewing you. They're looking at your cleavage, whether it's a man or a woman.
And that is a turn off.
Okay. All right. So let's recap that. It's a recruiting drive. If you're looking for a job, People 490 is having a recruiting drive come Saturday, June 15th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And Judith is pleading with you to please come dressed as if you're going for a job interview. Okay. Because that's where you're judged. And we hate to talk about appearances a lot, but people see you before you open your mouth, you know, or before you give Judith your CV or your CL, your cover letter, or your curriculum vitae. She is looking at you, the person. So, you know, please go with your hair combed properly, young men, and cut off that whole ton load of hair that you have on your head.
Or make it look, or if you can cut it, if you choose not to cut it out because it's your religion or whatever reason, make it neat.
Yes, make it neat and presentable, please. And young men, do not wear your pants that is 10 sizes bigger than you for an interview. Please, just don't do it.
If it's falling off you, you're not going to see me.
Exactly. She is very strict, I can tell you that.
You out. I cannot, if you're not accepted by me, then you're not going to go out to one of my clients.
Exactly. So it's a recruiting drive Saturday, June 15th from 9 to 1 p.m. That's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it's being hosted by People 490 come. And whoops, as we look around, it's June 15th, actually. You don't have that much time.
And the address.
Yes, okay. You want to give us the address?
It's 3800.
3800,
Inverary Boulevard.
Inverary Boulevard.
And that's in Lauderhill, Florida. And for those who do not know where Inverary Boulevard is, it's off Oakland Park Boulevard. So if you're going west from 441, it would be on your right. And once you come in, the park is on the right.
Okay.
And it's the first building in that parkway.
Okay, so it's 3800 Inverary Boulevard in Lauderhill. That's 3800 Inverary Boulevard in Lauderhill. And the number to call for more information, Judith?
It's 754 223 2410.
Okay. All right. So we'll run that again. 754-223-2410. If you're looking for a job, we know there are lots of you out there. Some of you have given up. And, you know, it's as I say the word give up, I watched a young man this morning on television. I think it was on CNN. And he was born with two hands that are short. And he doesn't have many fingers. And you know what he does? He goes out and he talks to young people about not giving up. So can you imagine him? He has two hands that barely can do anything. And he's as happy as a lark trying to get young people to not give up.
There you go.
So as I segue to that, Judith, I want to ask you, how do you kind of coach some of these people? Because a lot of people, you know, they're out there, the recession hit, they lost their houses, they're kind of in the depression funk. And how do you help? Because I know you have to be a counselor too. How are you kind of encouraging these people? Just plead with them right now as I give you the microphone to speak. Plead with them to just not give up and pull up out of that depression and come to you to try for you to help them to get back into the working business.
Well, I encourage them to go for training, whether they come to me or they go to someone else. Because most of the time, they are lacking something that they're not aware of.
Okay.
For example, the way they dress for the interview. They said, oh, I have had so many interviews, but nobody called me. They say they'll call me, but they won't call me. They're not going to tell you that, look, you don't dress good. They're not going to tell you that. Or if you speak to them, the odor that comes out of your mouth, the breath from your breath, it's a turn off. Your personal hygiene is very important. Your deodorant is not there, so your armpit is not welcome. The smell from your armpit is not welcome. Those are some of the stuff. And they go late, like we talked about. They're late, and they come up with all these lame excuses as to why they were late. For example, one person, oh, I couldn't find a place. It took me so long. You know, you have an interview. What you need to do, first of all, you need to do a dry run.
Yes, okay.
Go out there and locate that place before the actual date and time for your interview. So when it comes around to that date, you know exactly where you're going.
Exactly.
That shows interest, that you really have an interest and you really want to work. And they say, oh, I went for the interview and they told me they called me. No, you're lacking something or a lot of things.
Right.
Why you're not getting us. So you come for training so we can help you and guide you in the right path that you should take, how you should dress, groom yourself properly, what you should say, how you say it. We do mock interviews, so you get a run through of interview questions. What you can ask, what you expect the interviewers to ask. So you get all of that, and we share all of that information. And 9 out of 10 times, I promise you, you go out there for an interview and you just nail it.
Okay.
Because now you are well prepared.
Right.
And you went out there and you sold yourself. Now, all the information I can give you all of that information. And that 1%, like I said, 9 out of 10, that 1%, some of the times, you mess it up too.
Yes.
Because you get all the information, and you know what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, what not to do, and so on and so forth. But guess what? You don't sell yourself well.
And, you know, Judith, you mentioned something about doing a dry run to find the place. What I do find that dry run certainly helps, because when you go on the day of the interview and you can't find the place or you can't find a parking, you get all stressed out prior to the interview, which is not good for you. So the dry run to see where the place is, unless you know the place already, obviously, is really, really key. So there's so many little things that we're missing. We're missing making sure you brush your teeth properly that day. And you know, gargle with some mouthwash if you have to. Don't be afraid of that mouthwash.
Brush your tongue, because a lot of people, I have had training in the past that people wasn't thinking about brushing the tongue. They didn't even think that was something that needed to be done.
And it's part of what gives you bad breath. If your tongue is not pink, watch out.
So, you know, but some people, you can't blame them because they do not know better. And that is why I do all these little training and these mock interviews for my people who comes in for work. Because if they're not prepared in that regard, I like to do that for them so they can be prepared before they go out there.
Okay, we just want to remind people quickly that Judith is also having a customer service what is it? A seminar, Judith?
Yes.
It's a seminar that's coming up in August, so we are going to tell you about that later. But we want to first push this one about the recruiting effort, because I know lots of people out there are looking for jobs. Are you limiting to any specific industry, or it's just any industry? That's fine.
Actually, I'm very much into the hospitality and tourism.
Okay.
However, if you are looking for a job, still come out. It doesn't necessarily have to be in that area, because we extend ourselves. It's just that the niche that we carve for ourselves are the hospitality and tourism. So if you want to work on a cruise ship, if you want to work in the airline industry, if you want to work in a hotel or restaurant, those are our babies.
Okay.
However, like I said, you can still come, because we do spread our wings so that we can help people in other areas.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, my Judith from People 490, we thank you so much for the wonderful information that you gave today, because I'm sure if people are listening and if you miss the show and you want to get those tips, you can go on my website, dianawrighttv.webs.com, click on that YouTube icon, and hopefully my dear sister Novelet would have uploaded the show to the site so you can get it there. If not, you just got to fight to find it on YouTube. But what we do here is that when I finish a show, I do the upload, and then she has to download it for me to my site. So it's easier for people to find it, because you go on YouTube, there's millions and millions of things. So sometimes it takes a little longer to find it. So we try to make it as easy as possible for you to get the information, because I know that sometimes you can't tune in because, you know, it's that time of day or whatever, or you're busy, whatever the case is. But the information is crucial, because lots of us are always going to be going for an interview somewhere, sometime, someplace. Okay. All right, Judith. So final thoughts before you go?
Just to recap, you know, the tips that we shared earlier. Please make sure that you present yourself in a conservative, well-dressed way for your interview, and that thank you letter is important after you get your interview. In some cases, as a matter of fact, let me just hit this instead of recapping. People who get interviewed, sometimes they're interviewed over lunch, sometimes they're interviewed over dinner.
Oh, okay.
And that's something I will address next time.
Okay.
Please be prepared for this, and I'll talk about that next time I'm on. But you never know that sometimes that lunch that they invite you, don't think that you're all that and then some. It's an interview. You just don't know it.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That's something to look forward to next Tuesday. I never even thought about that because I've never been I've never been taken to dinner or lunch for an interview. So that's an interesting thought.
Yes, yeah, you don't know that it's an interview that they're taking you on, and then you mess up because you think that, oh, okay, oh, he's taking you to lunch, oh, and you get
you're excited, right?
Yeah.
But it's part of it's part of the judgment. Part of the judgment if you're being taken out to dinner or lunch, okay?
So make a note of this. Come back next week and you get all that too.
Okay, and thank you so much, Judith. And I'll keep talking about, of course, the recruiting drive that you're having on Saturday, June 15th, beginning at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it's going to take place at 3800 Inver Boulevard in Lauderhill. It's easy to find. And if you having problems with the directions or anything, just give Judith a call at 754-223-2410, and it's People 490 for you people on a Tuesday right here on the Diana Wright Show Live. Thank you so much, Judith, and have a great and blessed day.
You too, Diana. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, so that was Judith from People 490. We invite you to give her a call and check out her website at people490.com because it is important, and I know that a lot of you are looking for jobs, and she says her niche really is the hospitality industry, restaurants, hotels, cruise ships, and all that, which are all exciting places to work in a hotel and work on the cruise ship and all that. You get free cruises and whatever. So if you can go and get some extra tips from Judith at People 490, you definitely should do so. So check out her website at people490.com. Her name is Judith, and she is the director, and her number is 754-223-2410. That's 754-223-2410. And it's a recruiting drive on June 15th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Invery Boulevard, and the address is 3800, that's 3800 Invery Boulevard in Lauderhill. Wherever you need to drive from to get there, I promise you it will be worth your while, and it will give you some good tips for the next job interview that you decide to go on. So we thank Judith from People 490 today, and of course it's almost time for us to jump out of here until the 8 o'clock hour of the Diana Wright Show this evening with Dr. Melanie. I hope Dr. Melanie has come back from the cloud of the long weekend. So hopefully she'll be with us this evening at 8 o'clock. So as I double check that with her today, and we will have some more medical news and interesting things about relationships and sex and libidos and all that kind of stuff later on this evening at the 8 o'clock hour. And of course, come tomorrow, it's Wednesday, and it's time for Wellness Wednesday with Dax Dunn, my partner in crime here on the Diana Wright Show Live. So we have him then, and we will talk about, lots of things. I'm going to try to get Pastor Seaton to come on Thursday morning to talk about immigration. What is truly going on with that immigration bill? I need to find out. And of course, come Thursday evening at the 8 o'clock hour on the Diana Wright Show, we have Dax joining us again. We had the pleasure last Thursday to have Vanya joining him with me, and we had a great spirited conversation, very open, very frank about sex, men and sexuality and divorce and what men are looking for from women and all that kind of good stuff. So, and then come Friday, we do Wow Big Friday, the news of the week that wowed us, and Dax joins me again for that. So we thank you so much for joining us, and we look for your support, and we ask you to love us on Facebook. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook. Tell a friend that we're here. We're here for you, to help you, to give you information, to teach you to love yourself. Yes, yes, yes. And we're asking you, of course, to keep in mind the date of October 5, when we will give you an opportunity through Save a Life Jamaica Foundation to be part of the fundraiser that we're having. It's a party fundraiser, and we have a theme for the party. We'll tell you more about the theme to give you time to get your clothing in line and get prepared. I'm looking for mine already. Man, it's hard to find. But anyway, I'll give you the scoop on that. And so it's October 5, and I promise you it will be a fantastic party for you to come and enjoy yourself and save lives at the same time. It will only cost you $30, so it's not a lot. And if you can't make the event, we're asking you to go to Save a Life Jamaica Foundation and make a donation of $30. Just because you can't make the event, you know. But I still expect you to fly in from Paris or from London for the party. From New York, from anywhere, from Los Angeles. Come on in, you know. Yeah, I spoke to a celebrity yesterday to try to get him to come to the party. But, you know, these celebs, they don't have a set calendar. So he promises if he's in town, then he'll come. So, great producer he is in the reggae fraternity. So, I'm going to try to get some others there too. But anyway, we welcome you and we thank you for joining us today inside the Diana Wright Show for the 10:30 live hour. And we ask you and plead with you to love yourself. Simply 3 little words. You put the big word, love, in between the I and the me, and you get I love me. How easy is that? Love yourself and life will seem so much better and brighter and bigger, no matter what the hurdles come. And the hurdles are bound to come. But it's how you handle those hurdles and how you move out of those hurdles to get to the place that you want to be. So thank you so much again. And if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. As I say, adios, ciao, and au revoir. See you later at 8 o'clock. And I want you to sing the words today. I love me. Have a great day and have a blessed day. And be well. Doobie doobie doo. Be doobie doobie. Doobie doobie doo.